Chapter 16. Stone Cold Party Girl. The day I'm getting out, I decide to check the messages on my machine. Everyone else has been calling their voicemail somewhat obsessively, but I've been doing a decent job of acting like I didn't actually exist before I came to Pledges. We talk a lot about how we're being reborn here in Culver City, but I've taken that even further by deciding that everything that happened before wasn't really my life. Even though I've talked about everything in group and in post-group smoke-a-thons, when I share about how I did coke all day at work, snorted Special K with strangers, and passed out beside a dumpster, I feel like I'm talking about someone else, a troubled girl I once knew, but not me. I've essentially learned that I've had no idea who I actually am. I'd always fancied myself rather fabulous and bitchy, but what I'm beginning to see is that I'm both nerdier and nicer than I've ever wanted to admit. Thinking about my behavior with Stephanie and Brian and everyone else makes me shudder. But Tommy and Rachel keep telling me not to regret the past and that I can deal with all of that when I'm ready. But on my last day, I know that acclimation back into my life will feel less overwhelming if I deal with my messages, or the fact that there might not be any messages ahead of time. So even though the receiver for the payphone feels like it weighs about 100 pounds, I force myself to dial my voicemail. I'd gotten so accustomed to that cold-sounding, computerized woman's voice informing me that I had no new messages that I'm shocked when I hear her announce that I have 23. Christ, I don't think I've had 23 people I know call me in the past year. The first one's about a sample sale I missed, the second one is a wrong number, but my heart starts racing on number 3. Amelia, it's Stephanie, I hear, and I prepare for a verbal assault. But she continues, God, this is stupid. I'm an asshole for emailing you that Ice Princess note. Will you call me? Also, someone is spreading these crazy rumors about you going to rehab. She punctuates that with an enormous laugh. Please call and let me know you're okay. Are you up north with your family? I push 2 to save the message and wonder what the hell I'm going to say to her. She said the word rehab like someone would say mime school or prison, like it's inconceivable. I remember feeling the same way before I got here. The rest of the messages are from random acquaintances, some who'd heard that I've been fired, some just checking in. It's shocking to realize that I have people who care about me when I've spent so much time alone, convinced that the whole world hated me. I guess this is the alcoholic mind Tommy's always talking about. In one of the first groups I went to, someone had shared about how alcoholics and addicts see things as black or white. Either everything's terrible or it's wonderful. We're in love or we're in hate. Accepting that life is full of gray areas, of days and people that are simply okay, is challenging because we can't get high off that or create martyr-like drama around it. Tommy likes to call this the beast, and Justin is always saying, your mind is a dangerous place, don't go in there alone. Standing there and listening to the messages from my former life with the ears of my new life, all the small comments and shares I've heard over the past 4 weeks start piling up and making even more sense than when I first heard them. When I finish listening to the messages on my home voicemail, I check my BlackBerry, which Kimberly unceremoniously returned to me this morning. And that's when I almost pass out. Amelia, darling, this is Daniel Bromley. I trust you remember me, says a voice I could never forget. My heart starts fluttering, and I try not to think about all of Tommy's lectures about why we should avoid dating in our first year of sobriety. You may find someone, he'd say. The odds are good, but the goods are odd. He'd usually add that newly sober people have broken pickers from their years of self-destructive behavior. He'd then usually go off on these tangents about how our dreams would come true if we focus on staying sober and not on dating. But what if dating a certain someone was our dream come true? I try to stay calm as I listen to the rest of Daniel's message. I wasn't going to leave this on your voicemail, but you see, I heard about what happened with you at Absolutely Fabulous. My heart sinks as quickly as it lifted when I realize he's not calling to ask me out. He's calling to console me over getting fired. For a second, I hate him. There's nothing more horrifying than being pitied. He continues, and I say, their loss can be my gain. You live a wild life and tell fabulous stories about it. Come write a column documenting your exciting, crazy adventures for chat. I can surely pay you better than whatever you were getting to do those naff celebrity stories. And well, I hope you don't think I'm incredibly pompous for telling you this, but the job could surely launch you into the cultural stratosphere and possibly make you a household name. Call me when you can, okay? Oh, and by the way, I already have the perfect name for the column. He pauses, possibly for dramatic effect, even though the moment has plenty of drama already. Party Girl. What do you think? I say it's straightforward and intriguing, just like you. I'm bouncing off the walls ebullient when I walk into my last group. The weather has been so stunning that everyone, Tommy included, is wearing shorts. I feel hopeful, excited, and like my life has entered some sunny, problem-free zone. I'm dying to share my good news about Daniel's message, but Tommy starts off group talking super earnestly, the way he always does when someone's leaving. Let me say that although I'm proud of you, Amelia, your work in sobriety has really just started, he says, making it a point to look me in the eye. Remember, we're like people who have lost their legs. We never grow new ones. I start resenting Tommy, thinking that this is hardly the best way to congratulate me for having survived and for the most part flourished in 30 days of not particularly glamorous rehab. Even though I've heard him do this number on Justin and Robin and everyone else on their last day, it never sounded as stern as it does now. The statistics for sobriety are incredibly discouraging, he continues. Most of us don't make it. Today, with 30 days of intensive treatment under your belt, that may seem impossible to imagine. But out there in the world, when you start getting your life together, you may let other things come before your recovery. You may find yourself getting the career you've always wanted, or the guy of your dreams, and forget that these things are possible only because you're sober. Actually, I start, but Tommy holds up his finger and continues. I can't tell you how many people say they get it when they leave, Tommy says. And then they're back here again next year or even next month. Alcoholism is a cunning, baffling disease, and that's what makes it so dangerous. Even though I'm still resenting Tommy for making my last group such a downer, I think I get why he's doing it. The whole time we've been here, we've been hearing about people relapsing or slipping, which seems to be another word for relapsing that doesn't sound half as bad. But Tommy has also told us that if we go to a recovery meeting every day, are rigorously honest, do the steps with our sponsors, and try to be of service to people, we will stay sober. I'm completely committed to all of it, but I can already tell that people like Vera and Robin, who've been talking about setting up a company together where they'll promote certain nights at various Hollywood clubs, are less so. Rachel has been reinforcing this idea that I have to keep sobriety my primary purpose if I want to keep what I have, and I've assured her that I can. I'm constantly telling her that she doesn't have to worry about me because I never even really liked drinking, and the mere thought of Coke sounds disgusting at this point. When Tommy finishes talking, I share about Daniel's message and how excited I am to be embarking on this new phase in my life. When group ends, I go over to Tommy to savor my news even more. That's nice, Amelia, he says, as if I've informed him that I emptied an ashtray filled with cigarette butts. I'm not sure you understand, Tommy, I say. In my field, getting offered a column at one of the world's biggest and best magazines is considered a very big deal. I know I'm being slightly condescending, which seems especially inappropriate given that Tommy has almost single-handedly saved my life, but I want him to swoop me into a hug and congratulate me. Instead, he asks, You say it's a column where you'll be documenting your crazy adventures? I nod and he continues, Well, seeing as your primary purpose is now to stay sober and be of service, I don't imagine you're going to be having all that many crazy adventures. Amazing as it seems, this hadn't occurred to me. I'm about to freak out over the fact that I have to give up the best possible job I could imagine before I've even had a chance to accept it, when I realize I have a rich history to draw on. Tommy, the stuff I got up to pre-sobriety could fill 10,000 columns, I say, and he finally smiles. You don't need to tell me, he says, laughing. I've been listening to you for the past 30 days. We hug, and then I go around the room hugging everyone else goodbye. When Robin and Peter left, they sobbed, but I've never been a big last day of camp or school crier. Still, when Vera wobbles up to me in her spandex and heels, crying that she's going to miss me, I get a little misty-eyed. World, I think, here I come.